Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you wherever you are in the world today. Welcome to our presentation. This is world-class Db2 Data Ops for the Autonomous Digital Enterprise. My name is John Berry. I'm the Principal Product Manager for the Db2 Solutions at BMC Software. And I'm going to be leading you through this presentation with the titles obviously got quite a lot of big loaded terms in it. And so we're going to unpack those as we go through our time today and understand each individually what it means to you and how it helps drive your business forward. When we first of all need to understand what we mean by an autonomous digital enterprise. At BMC, we consider an ADE, an autonomous digital enterprise, an ADE, is an organization that can navigate and succeed in this digital economy. They have to achieve agility, a laser focus on customer centricity, and have actionable insights from their data. An ADE is actually built on 5 technology-enabled tenets. Again, with that laser focus on a transcendent customer experience. This is key when you're only as good as your latest app release is. Today's most agile apps create a compelling user experience with outstanding design and connected microservices. You have to have automation everywhere, completely interwoven throughout your environment, providing predictive models for things, issue resolution, knowledge sharing, app development and deployment, and much more. To do this, you need enterprise DevOps, which is this kind of an approach is necessary to deliver differentiated customer experience. Again, focused constantly and laser focused on that transcendent customer experience. So developers need a compelling developer experience that enables them to jumpstart application development from mobile to mainframe. You need to be a data-driven business with a data-driven approach with predictive models that can gain you insights and achieve a faster time to value from your technology investments in development, operations, and security. And on top of all this, you need to protect it. You need that adaptive cybersecurity in the world we live in today that protects your mainframes from vulnerabilities and risks that maybe didn't even exist in the past, where you can predict attacks before they happen and inform your security and operations on how to harden the mainframe against these future threats. An ADE can bring all 5 of these technology-enabled tenets together, and when they do, they reap the benefits that they range from faster time to market with apps and services. You get an environment that's just as innovative as it is secure. You get greater cost efficiencies. And ultimately, what's the entire focus? A very happy customer. BMC is completely committed to helping our partners become an autonomous digital enterprise. And our portfolio is uniquely positioned to guide enterprises like you on this journey. What we deliver to enable this autonomous digital enterprise is what we call BMC AMI, or Automated Mainframe Intelligence, along with our newest acquisition, BMC CompuWare. This helps you deliver services faster with greater intelligence, security, and resiliency. So when we think of BMC AMI, I think it's easy to understand it better when we personify Amy. Who exactly is Amy? And by doing that, we can understand what she can do for you. So to achieve that ADE, you need to be able to manage all these different aspects of your environment. Amy is like your security guard. She helps you harden security. She protects your environment from outside threats. Amy can empower resilience in your environment. In that way, AMI is like your doctor. She ensures your system is always healthy. AMI can help you optimize your ecosystem. In that way, AMI's a little bit like a librarian. She ensures your data is always ready and perfectly organized to be delivered at a moment's notice to end users or other technical teams that need that data. And AMI helps you accelerate innovation. In this way, she's like a coach that helps you be faster, better, and more efficient. So as we move forward with our presentation today, helping you become the autonomous digital enterprise, keep all of these benefits in mind. So as we look at how to be successful amid all the challenges facing today, you can understand where AMI fits in to help you achieve that. And there are a lot of challenges facing you today. And good news is the mainframe isn't going anywhere today. In fact, if we look at our survey, this is the BMC mainframe, the 15th annual Mainframe Survey. 90% of those surveyed see that the mainframe is the platform for growth for long-term applications. That's really good news for all of us in this business for so long. But now with mainframe enterprises competing to bring new digital experience to the market to delight customers, we start seeing in this survey these themes of adapt, automate, and secure. They're resounding stronger than ever from our respondents. The idea of adapting, we're seeing that customers need new processes to keep up with this digital demand. 78% of respondents want to be able to update mainframe applications more frequently than they currently do. To do this, they're focusing on things like Devops on Z. And obviously, then what they're seeing the return on this. 74% of companies are seeing ROI in 1 year or less from their DevOps processes. They have to automate, with 2/3 of extra large shops having more than 50% of their data on the mainframe. Not surprising that we're going to see more automation. Nor is the fact that they have to have this automation in order to be successful. Mainframe modernization continues to play a key role in priorities among our respondents, with the need to implement AI and machine learning strategies. That's jumped by over 8% year over year. And then obviously, I mentioned security. In the past, the mainframe has this reputation of being naturally secure. But what we're actually seeing now is it's being brought more online. Respondents are seeing the growing need to fortify the walls, and security has actually trumped cost optimization as the leading mainframe priority among our respondents for the first time in the 15-year history of the survey. And by the way, just a quick note on this survey. The BMC annual Mainframe Survey is the biggest survey of its kind on the mainframe data processing. And so if you're not part of the mainframe survey, I'd urge you to go to bmc.com and sign up, and in the future, help out giving information to the industry and being part of this as a respondent. Looking at all these results we're seeing here, this is actually our 2020 survey. Little sneak peek. We'll be releasing the results from our 2021 survey shortly. And what you see is that all these trends that I'm talking about here are actually accelerating as we move forward year by year. So all these things that we're talking about today are becoming more and more an issue that has to be dealt with as we move ahead. So in their move to become this autonomous digital enterprise, there's a dynamic going on that we need to discuss. In the past, we have these two very separate teams of people in our environments. You have the application developers and the architects, and then you have DBAs, the data owners, who have complete control over their DB2 environment and all of the data. Well, in this move to deliver data faster, to be successful, to give that customer experience, things are now shifting left. Responsibilities are moving from these DBAs over to these application teams. And so, in fact, I talked to an analyst not long ago who said that the mainframe is the only platform that requires its users to be absolute experts on the platform to get anything done. Well, now that becomes a major obstacle, as these responsibilities that have belonged to DBAs with 30 years worth of plus of mainframe experience is now shifting left over to application developers who have, in many cases, little to no mainframe expertise and don't want mainframe expertise. They want data. They don't really care what platform it came from. They just need data. We also have a very interesting dynamic that needs to be discussed, in that these two different teams of people want very different things. If I surveyed a room full of application developers and I asked how many changes are too many, I'd get laughed at. Change is a goal. If your app hasn't been changed in a month, it's outdated. So they want to move fast. They want rapid and continuous changes. Now put me in front of a room of DBAs, and if I ask them how many changes are too few, I'm going to get laughed at. If you ask that same room of DBAs, what's the perfect amount of changes in your DB2 environment? The answer is 0. Because the DBA's concern is not agility moving fast, it's stability, reliability, and availability at all costs, but also reducing costs at the same time, which we'll get to. So now, what we have to try and do here is bring about a culture where you can put together these disparate needs and requirements, the ability to move faster with the need to keep stability, reliability, and control, the ability to manage operations in a lot of ways, or data management in a lot of ways, with little to no mainframe expertise and maybe no understanding of DB2 in general. So we've got to try and bring those together. And it's not getting easier. It's actually, this is getting pushed faster and faster on us. What you see here is from that same survey we talked about, the Mainframe Survey, 53% have reported an increased rate of database object change. These things are happening. The application teams are moving forward fast. They're changing DB2 the way we haven't seen in the past done before. Obviously, that comes from that 44% saying the applications are changing. What's very interesting also is that 40% see that the number of databases in their mainframes have increased year over year. We're not just seeing a massive growth in data, which we're kind of used to at this point. We're getting lots and lots of more data, but we're also getting new databases. Things are changing. The databases we have are changing. And so now we need to look and understand that the way we used to manage what in a lot of ways was a static environment, sure, growing with data, but structures didn't change from day to day. Well, now they're being asked to change. 53% are increasing the rate at which they're changing. So think about that. If you think today that things are moving too fast, they're getting worse. Day after day, they're going to keep speeding up because that's where we're going. That's what customers are demanding. At the same time, 64% are being asked to reduce their scheduled maintenance. Those change windows, if they exist, are shrinking. So we need to be able to manage a growing database with a rapidly increasing number of changes pretty much online in real time without any impact to our customers. And you see that hasn't always been successfully. In our survey, data recovery has grown as a mainframe priority from 39% in 2019 to 46% in 2020. A lot of that is due to bad changes getting through, user errors getting into production, causing major problems and in some cases outages that just can't be allowed in a true autonomous digital enterprise. So in order to fix this, we have to work on our processes and on our culture. And so what we will call this is we need DataOps. The way to be successful amid all these challenges, to meet the goals that we need to give that transcendent customer experience, we need DataOps for the autonomous digital enterprise. DataOps is the combining of your data into your operations. Let's give a working definition for the rest of this presentation. First of all, you know where this term came from. Like all great terms we use, this had to be brought up by some marketing department trying to sell something. But if we look a little bit closer, what we're referring to here is a process-driven approach that allows our data owners, those DBAs who are looking for stability, reliability, and availability, to deliver their company's most important asset. What's their most important asset? It's their data. We have to be a data-driven business. So we have to deliver that data quickly to the technical teams, whether that's the application developers, the data scientists, data analysts, or end users, to improve quality and drive business processes to ultimately enhance the customer experience. But somehow, those data owners have to maintain control, availability, security, reliability, stability. That's the goal of DataOps. And so that's what we're trying to accomplish here today. The good news for me is that BMC AMI can help you accomplish that. In order to meet these modern demands, you need a modern solution for your data management. We call it BMC AMI Data for Db2. This is world-class data management specifically designed for Db2 and IMS to meet the needs of an ADE, to meet the growing, rapid changing demands, to be able to manage a quickly changing environment automatically, to be able to shift responsibilities left while maintaining control and reliability and availability of your environment. So some of the things that AMI Data for Db2 allows you to do is ensure stability, knowing your data is always available and your applications are always running smoothly. AMI Data will help you quickly and automatically back up and recover your critical assets to ensure greater data resiliency for your business. Even as those databases change and add over time, they're automatically recovered and backed up. You know your house is always in order and compliant. And to automate database changes for higher quality, improved performance, and rapid time to production. This is what AMI Data is designed to do. Just a quick second to talk a little bit about what makes it AMI Data. For any of our products at BMC to be considered part of BMC AMI, they have to meet certain core tenets. So you'll think about these as we move forward with what AMI is able to help you achieve. AMI Data, in order to be part of AMI, has to meet these different tenets, be action-oriented, help you manage your data, help you do something with your data to move your business forward. They have to be very easy to use. And I think about that in terms of shifting left. Am I able to pass data management responsibilities to a user who doesn't have 30 years of experience, who doesn't know the different terms on the mainframe? If I'm able to do that with automation built into the process, so all they have to do is say what they want done and let the product control how it's done, now we're part of AMI. They have to give you rapid time to value, which means they have to be easy to roll out into your environment and get new users up and running on them. They have to be able to embed your expertise. So you do have 30 years of expertise in this environment. You know the best practices for your business. If you could take all that knowledge and build them into the tools so that when you shift them left to a new user, you know there's nothing they can do to mess up your environment. You know you're maintaining control. If we want to use a lower term, you've dummy-proofed these for a new type of user who doesn't have your expertise, because now they do. You've taken all that expertise and given it to them in the tools you've handed to them. They have to be easy to integrate in modern processes like Jenkins, UCD, CI/CD pipelines. You've got to put all of your processes into, or all of your tools into these processes to streamline from application development to rollout in production. And they've got to leverage cutting edge technology. We're facing problems that we've never seen before. We're facing amounts of data we've never seen before. But we're also working on the mainframe that gives us capabilities that we've never had before. And so you've got to have tools that understand that and that can innovate and can utilize all of that capacity to make your business successful. So with that in mind, I want to drill down a little bit and see what AMI Data can actually do to help you become that autonomous digital enterprise, to roll out DataOps to be successful. What BMC AMI Data does is it makes your data available quickly and cost effectively to drive your business. These are some of the areas that we're going to cover as we move forward. With AMI Data for DB2, you can automatically capture and propagate database changes across your DB2 environments while enforcing DevOps best practices. You can identify and tune SQL during development. You don't have to let SQL get to production to find out if it's going to work or not. That doesn't work in a fast-changing world. With AMI Data for DB2, you can move growing amounts of data efficiently for business processes and application development. With BMC AMI Data for DB2, you can automate DB2 optimization for application performance and cost efficiency. Your data is always available, your data is always optimized, and access to it is always efficient. Again, with that focus on that transcendent customer experience. And with BMC AMI Data for DB2, you can automate the recovery tasks for greater resiliency and less operational risk. If anything goes wrong, you know your system is covered, you know that you can meet SLAs, and you know that your data is protected. So what we're going to do is, with this as a framework, go forward and see how we can shift left and maintain control at the exact same time. So AMI Data for DB2 enables you to integrate your database changes in your DevOps process. Developers know what they need done. They know that they need a database that meets their criteria. They don't always know what all goes into changing a database on the mainframe. There's when you're dealing with multi-billion row tables, when you're dealing with massive row links, it's no longer a simple thing to simply say, unload the data, reload the data, drop the object. We also have to keep it available at all times. Luckily, BMC has given the database administrators tools that show them what goes into making a change and to automate that change. Had that in the field for 30 years, where they can quickly take a requested change, run it through the product, and determine here's the most efficient way to make that change and let it go do it. But what we need to do now is be able to shift that capability over to the left to the application developers. And so you can now integrate your change management process into Jenkins or Urban Code Deploy. And as part of your CI/CD pipeline, you can allow the developers to easily and automatically move schema changes from one system to the next, and to ensure that they're following your best practices. On top of that, you maintain complete control. So the DBA is able to say that I'm going to allow changes to automatically move from system to system, but when it gets to acceptance test, or especially when it gets to production, I have to have manual approval of it. And so by the time it gets there, the DBAs have been notified automatically, and they're able to then say, yes, I approve this change, or I deny this change. But you get instant feedback, you get best practices built in, and you know that changes that move forward are good for production and are being done automatically. However, there's also SQL is coming through at the same time. Too often, what we've heard is that our customers, or what people we talk to, have to wait until production to know if the SQL is going to be successful. That's not acceptable in our world today. One of the big requests we've gotten from customers is stop bad SQL from ever seeing the light of day. Well, what we allow you to do now, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this because this is an exciting a new feature for us. We can let you put your dynamically evaluate your SQL into your CI/CD pipeline. So, for example, as Jenkins, as part of the process, as a application developer moves SQL from development to test, SQL standards are checked, SQL performance is validated, and they're given instant feedback on if it's okay and what they can do to improve it. So with this instant feedback, they can make improvements back in the development, back in unit testing, so that by the time it gets to production, you know exactly what it's going to do in your environment. It also gives you the ability to take production run stats and move them from system to system, so that you know this SQL is being evaluated not in a test system, but on what will eventually be the production environment. And you may have different standards that say certain selects are not allowed in my production environment. Well, now you can call those out immediately as they're attempted to be promoted, before it runs through test after test, only to find out that it would never make it in production. And we give you great graphical screens to see these changes coming through. DBAs are given the ability to define the rules for each DB2 environment. So you can decide, you're not allowed to do a select star on this table. Any kind of rules can be built into the process here, so that you can pass over the ability to shift left that responsibility, but maintain control over what's allowed in your system. You still maintain that role as the data owner. And like I said, you're given instant feedback. The developers are given instant feedback. As soon as they try and move a SQL from system to system, they're given an emailed report that shows them what they can do, what the issues are, and what they can do to improve it. So in this case, for example, we show them that this is going to create a table space scan. If they would create an index, that would make this better. And like I mentioned before, you can copy your stats from production over to these environments, so you're not seeing what it does on a test system. You're seeing what it's going to do when it gets to production. But again, it makes the DBA the owner, so he still has the ability to override if he knows that what they're trying to do will be okay in an environment. So these two processes that we've talked about allow you to shift left your SQL development and SQL analysis and database change operations over to your application developers while still maintaining control. You can now allow those changes to get to production faster, knowing that your best practices and your expertise have been built into the process, and you know what you're getting in a well-optimized production environment. But in order to do the development, they need data. You're in this kind of environment, you're having to move data from system to system. You're moving data into production. Data is being moved everywhere nowadays. And unfortunately, you're facing a massive amount of it, growing amounts every single day. You have to be able to move it efficiently and very easily. What I thought was best here, you see the reasons. You're consolidating data sharing systems, you're test data provisionings, you're making data structure changes. There's all kinds of reasons you're having to move data. And I thought it was best just to look at what BMC AMI Data has done for its customers to see how it's helped them be more efficient. BMC AMI Data for Db2 customers have migrated 87 terabytes of data and indexes using a single command. That's that simplicity. That's that making it easier for inexperienced users to use. But they did it in an hour and a half. It's also very efficient and very innovative. BMC AMI Data for Db2 customers have unloaded 30 billion rows of live data with zero impact to applications. So it's very easy and it maintains control. But they did it in an hour and a half. It's very efficient. And our customers have loaded 10 billion rows of data into production in 2.25 hours. Very efficient, very innovative. You can now move massive amounts of data that you haven't even seen before very easily in different ways with different methods from system to system with ease. This is what AMI Data allows you to do, and this is how it really allows you to meet those growing demands being put on you. In order to access your data, though, you have to maintain peak performance. Db2 is the platform we picked for a purpose, one of the greatest transactional databases of all time. But in order to meet that demand, that performance that Db2 is capable of, our data has to be optimized all the time. That's not possible using old methods of JCL generation, of having to manually run reports and decide what needs to be optimized. You need a system in place that keeps your data optimized automatically. As new applications are rolled out, as databases are changed, as structures are changed, as databases are added, no new work has to be done. The system itself will automatically take care of you. If a database is new that wasn't there tomorrow, it'll be optimized automatically. That's how you can automate this system. What AMI allows you to do is embed your expertise. Take all of the knowledge that you know about your system. Why should something be optimized? When should it be optimized? When should it not be optimized? How long is it allowed to process? Are there times when it should never process? All of these different policies for your environment, you can build very easily into the solution and then hand it to application teams. Set it on to where it automatically runs. Whatever you need to do, very simply, with no JCL generation ever, with no changes ever, you can know that your data is always optimized, following all of your rules, keeping it available 24/7, and doing it very efficiently. So even as you have multi-billion row tables, they're automatically processed for you in a fraction of the time you've ever seen before, all so that your customers and your technical teams can have instant access to your database at all times. And you know that your customers, when they use those new apps, are getting the fastest possible application performance that Db2 can provide to you. And you can automate the entire process to drive down costs and improve efficiency. But none of this matters if you can't protect your data. And so BMC AMI Data will automate your entire recovery process, quickly create complete data consistent backups with no downtime, find more efficient ways of doing backups, know when the best time to do backups is, how many backups should be needed. It knows the fastest way to recover your data. Should you back out the database changes? Should you recover forward from a point in time? Should you recover into a new space? Do you need to migrate your data? BMC AMI Data can take care of all of this for you so that your recovery is not wasted on sync time, on planning in a crisis mode. Everything can be automated so that backup and recovery tasks are done for an entire application. When something goes wrong, you simply need, with a single command, to say go and let it recover what needs to be recovered to when it needs to be recovered, and know that your system can be up and running. But you also, nowadays, with modern compliance issues, with modern regulations, you need to be able to prove that you're recoverable too. And you need to be able to prove that you're recoverable in a set amount of time. So now what you're able to do with AMI Data is estimate and simulate and be able to prove your recovery so that you also know that you are completely compliant. You know that through the built-in health checks that everything is recoverable. You haven't missed anything. It's taken care of the process, and with a quick glance, you can see that your entire system is protected. That's what AMI Data can do for you to be able to make your system more resilient. And one of the beauties of AMI Data for DB2 is that it is all centered around an incredible graphic design of AMI Command Center for DB2. With AMI Command Center for DB2, you're able to do application development easier. You're able to do data management easier. All of them are built into recovery estimation, simulation. All of that is built into the process so that you can drive business agility. It makes it very easy to do all of those features that you've learned how to use over 30 years. This makes DB2 data management simple for a new generation of DBAs that don't have that long experience. For application developers who don't have the time to learn all that experience, it gives them the ability to root out performance issues. It gives them the ability to run automated tasks, to see all of the value that they're getting all in one place through really intuitive and innovative graphic design. With all of this, you're able to, as a tool, as a solution, as part of your DataOps tool chain, are able to become that autonomous digital enterprise. And you're able to meet these growing demands of the digital business of today. With that in mind, if there's more information you'd like to have, I urge you to contact your BMC rep or look us up on bmc.com and find more information. Thank you for all of your time this morning, this afternoon, or this evening, depending on where you are in the world. And I look forward to more conversations with you as we help you be successful as an autonomous digital enterprise.